welcome to today's deep dive. So there is this mathematical formula used by the music industry to predict global chart success. It's C equals F of P, L, and R.
Right. Chart position equals plays plus playlists plus radio weight.
Exactly. But an entirely independent Metro Vancouver band just figured out how to, hack that R variable without spending a single dime of corporate money. Okay, let's unpack this. We are looking at how the Westcoast Outlaws Band used this strategy with their Kickin' Up Dust EP to bypass the major labels.
Yeah, they're deliberately reviving that 1970s outlaw identity.
But today, that doesn't mean wearing a dusty cowboy hat. It really means total independence from Nashville and all its, superficial pop country trope.
Oh, totally. They've replaced that highly polished sound with a distinct West Coast blend. It's this mix of alt-rock, blues, and coastal rainforest grit. But to really understand that specific sound, you have to look at the unconventional architect behind the project.
You're talking about James Cousineau.
Right. He is the central writer and producer. He functions almost like an indie film auteur, just meticulously controlling the entire narrative framework of the EP.
And his background is definitely far from traditional Nashville. The sources note he was actually a video journalist who covered the war in Ukraine, and he was even an actor on shows like Supergirl.
Yeah, it's a wildly diverse background, and he bypasses industry gatekeepers by broadcasting his creative process directly to fans on local independent platforms like Just TV.
Right, he's basically directing every frame of the music like a movie. But I had to push back here for a second. I hear the word authenticity thrown around constantly, but how does a background in global crisis journalism actually translate into a catchy country song? Give me a concrete example.
Well, what's fascinating here is how that raw exposure to trauma just strips away the usual genre cliches. Take the track Sins of the Father, for instance.
Okay.
Traditional, highly polished country might treat intergenerational trauma with, a neat acoustic bow. But Cousineau witnessed profound human resilience and suffering firsthand.
Oh, wow. So he brings that real heaviness in.
Exactly. He translates that weight right into the musical arrangement itself. The track doesn't rely on upbeat tempos to mask the pain. The instrumentation is heavier. It basically forces the listener to sit with the discomfort of the narrative.
That makes sense.
And you hear that same thematic depth across the EP, like in On Neutral Ground, which wrestles with the messy reality of diplomacy, and Letters Never Sent, dealing with unfiltered nostalgic regret.
So it's less about writing a catchy, radio-friendly hook, and more about forcing you to feel that narrative weight from the ground up.
Precisely. And they protect that raw emotion using what they call a hard-mouthed dog production philosophy.
A hard-mouthed dog.
Yeah, so in hunting, a hard-mouthed dog bites down too hard and ruins the bird. In the recording studio, heavy-handed digital production, auto-tuning every vocal, quantizing every drum beat that bites down too hard and ruins the raw emotion of a track.
I see. So they just strip it all back.
Yeah.
The melody's weak. They don't just slap a digital Band-Aid on it.
Right. They rebuild the core of the song to fix the actual issue.
But because they refuse to use those glossy digital Band-Aids, major Nashville labels basically won't touch them, which forces them to rely on an entirely different equation to get heard.
Exactly. Which brings us back to that formula from earlier.
Right. C equals F of P, L, and R. Here's where it gets really interesting. How exactly does a totally independent band manipulate that R, the radio variable, when major labels practically own the airwaves?
Well, they turn their local media ecosystem into a weapon. They rally their grassroots fan base on platforms like Just TV to physically call local radio stations.
Wait, like old school phone calls?
Yep. They get them to call in and request their defiant title track, Kickin' Up Dust.
But hold on, a few dozen people calling a local station in Vancouver actually moves the needle on a global algorithm. How does that even work?
So it creates a localized data spike. When a local station spins the track, people in that specific zip code hear it, pull out their phones, and search for it on Shazam or Spotify.
Oh, I get it. The global streaming algorithms detect this dense, hyper-local surge in organic interest.
Exactly. The algorithm doesn't know why there's a spike. It just sees intense regional engagement, so it automatically bumps the song onto curated algorithmic playlists to test it with a wider audience.
Wow. They are essentially tricking a global system from the ground up. And that is exactly how Kickin' Up Dust hit number 24 on the global country charts.
It's brilliant, really.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, whether you're building a brand, launching a startup, or making art, This EP is a masterclass in modern leverage.
It really is. It proves you don't need a massive corporate machine to achieve global reach.
Right. You can get there by anchoring yourself in local, unpolished authenticity and mastering the mechanics of digital distribution.
It completely reframes what it means to be an independent creator today, because the tools to bypass the traditional systems are literally sitting right in our pockets.
Which leaves you with a pretty massive question to chew on. If independent artists can now weaponize local grassroots media and manipulate global streaming algorithms to entirely bypass Nashville's gatekeepers, is the traditional major label monopoly finally on the verge of total collapse?
Just fire and water and good company. The fire is raging, the tunes are blasting. Out on the water where the good times are lasting. Whiskey in hand, we don't give a damn. No worries tonight, this is who we am. No phones, no socials, no evidence to share. Just souls on the shoreline with the sea in the air. I remember my first love, the flutter, the spark, and the many that followed, who each left their mark. Friends who have faded like smoke in the air, and the echoes of laughter still ringing somewhere. No excuses, no mercy, no self-forgiveness found. Just letters I've written that never left the ground. Friday's here, loading up the beer, heading to the bush, the weekend's finally clear. Friends rolling in from every direction. This right here is pure perfection. Drinks in hand, fire burning bright. Turn up the music, we own the night. Crank it up on neutral ground. No bad news, no drag me down. No office blues, no politics, just good friends and a bonfire. Sometimes you get it right enough, sometimes you lose the fight. It's tough to be perfect, even in a child's eyes. You build them up with everything and watch the years go by. No do-overs, no restarts, no way to rewind the clock. You gave everything you had, gave everything you've got. No guidebook for this road, you just walk it block by